Hi, I'm Phil Brock. This is Brock and Your Block, and we just took a press tour all the way to downtown Santa Monica on Metro's new Expo line. It'll be great connectivity for us. While on board, I interviewed Jacquelyn Dupont-Walker, who's a member of the board of directors of the Metro, and we talked briefly about Expo's effects on Santa Monica. I'm with Jacquelyn Dupont-Walker on board the first public train going from Santa Monica back to Los Angeles. And my question, Jacquelyn, is tell me about the significance of the train coming to Santa Monica.
Well, I'm actually one of the board members, and it's so significant because for 63 years now, since 1953, we've not had this public access via public transportation and rail. And it's so important as we build our regional system, recognizing the growth that's anticipated, that we're able to help people move expediently and that we're able to reduce congestion.
Now, my grandmother and mother rode the red cars, so before I was born, but this is really a return.
Absolutely. We were just talking about that unfortunately post the World War, we were able to, unfortunately, the interest that purchased our public transportation did not invest well in it. And so people opted for cars. And now we have the opportunity to go back and have a fully built out system, including cars. So yes, it is a return to what was described as the most progressive system in that time.
I understand we had one of the best streetcar systems in the nation back then.
Absolutely. I've looked at the maps, and the way it traversed the regional area is mind-boggling. If only we could afford to do that now.
So a couple of questions for you from Santa Monica residents. Santa Monica residents have been concerned about the last three stations of the Expo line and how it traverses street side instead of a raised system. Will that affect the operations? Is there more of a potential for problems?
Well, what we've noticed from our other rail systems, and there are lessons learned, is that there are ways to time it, and we need to spend a lot of time educating the community on how to move forward. It has not created a lot of backups during rush hours, but it has to be very carefully handled. I'm noticing the quietness of the car, so we should not have the noise factor impacting. There will be a difference in life, but we think the change is well worth it.
Now, it's just a couple of standard things. There's no parking in Santa Monica for the train, dedicated parking, 60 spaces. And I just noticed since we just had coffee this morning, there are no bathrooms in any of the stations. Tell me about those.
Now, it was constructed by Expo Construction Authority, and since you pointed that out, I promise you I'm going to look into it. We know that with the parking, we want to protect the surrounding neighborhoods so that they're not impacted negatively by the people who are riding the trains. We're dealing very closely with first mile, last mile, so we can encourage people to find alternative routes to get to the rail, whether it's bike or whether it's ride share. And we have ride share now in many of our stations so that people can actually park their cars in dedicated places. We know there's probably not ample parking now, but we're hoping that with the change of behavior and our bus systems, Big Blue and the other 26 munis in addition to Metro, we'll be encouraging people because there will be that direct connection from other public transit options to the rail.
Now, this is not the last rail option in Los Angeles. I understand. I used to teach years and years ago at Crenshaw High, and I understand there's a line being constructed down the Crenshaw area too.
There are actually three under construction. Crenshaw LAX, which is long awaited. Former Congressman Julian Dixon, now deceased, and Tom Bradley had hoped that would be the first line instead of the blue line. But they were the kinds of statespersons who understood we had to service the community at its point of greatest need and at a point of readiness. And so Crenshaw LAX is long awaited, expected to be completed in 2019. Downtown Connector is going to make it possible for all of our current lines to connect easily. And now we're starting on the Purple Line, which will come almost to Santa Monica. It will stop at the Westwood campus of the VA. So we have those three under construction, and we're hoping that if the public is agreeable to the new tax increment measure, that some of the other requests from other sections of LA County can be honored, so that we would have much more happening, not only with rail, with some of the dedicated bus lanes, with improvement and bike lanes, because there's some bikers who will never purchase a car, and with improved bus service.
How many miles of transit, light rail transit, are there now in Los Angeles?
With the completion of this line, it'll be 106 miles of light rail transit. Isn't that phenomenal?
106 miles. That's fantastic. So you can leave Santa Monica, go to Universal Studios, you can go to the Queen Mary in Long Beach, and you can go to Santa Anita, all by train.
Absolutely. And don't forget the Gold Line East Side. And that's going to be extended, and it's the hope of many people that we will go to Ontario, that we will come to the ocean, and that we will go to the furthest point of LA County, connecting to Orange County. Orange County is talking about how those can interconnect as we do with the freeway.
And so, for the light rail, it's not just about today. It's about the connectivity and the change in transportation habits decades from now.
It is indeed. It's about making public transit an option so that there are choice riders, not riders simply because there is no option. So we're hopefully redefining the definition of transit ridership in Southern California and including the car, but making that also an option. And of course, there is the desire that there be something on Sepulveda. That's going to be a heavy lift because of the construction obstacles with the stone and the mountain. But it's something that Metro is willing to attack if that is the public desire. We want to be accountable to the public for putting in place the systems that will make the quality of life in this area absolutely the best.
Now, you're putting a tax measure, you're not, but the county is putting a tax measure on the November ballot. Tell me a little bit about that and how that would benefit light rail in Southern California.
No, we are. LA Metro is actually...
Thank you for the correct.
LA Metro is actually urging the public to give us feedback on the importance to them of what we're now calling Measure R2. And it will, in fact, create 3 generations of projects. Now, we said 3 generations, the first decade, the second decade, and the third decade of proposed projects. We have gone out and listened to the public. We've had community meetings. We will go back out. We've just finished another series based upon the metrics that were set in place. And we believe that we have heard the public well. We will have in this month the virtual town hall meetings where members of the of communities across the county can call in and speak to board members about whether or not we heard them correctly. And so in November, we are hoping that the voters will give us a clear signal that they're willing, with another half sale increase, to help fund the transportation system built out for the next 50 years.
And has the last tax measure, has it worked successfully? The sales tax increase that went on for the last few years because of the metro lines.
And that's why we're riding to Santa Monica today.
See, I was giving you a good lead-in question there. Thank you so much for talking to me, Jacquelyn.
Oh, thank you. We look forward to being in communication with you because we always want to be close to our riders, our potential riders, our new riders, and our seasoned riders.
Thank you so much. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Brock and Your Block, and we all look forward to riding the Expo line together.
Located in the heart of Beverly Hills, the Wallace Annenberg Center for the Performing Arts brings audiences world-class theater, dance, and music. The Wallace offers original and revered works by many of the world's most sought-after artists. Get your tickets online at thewallace.org.